Hello, hello, hello. I am coming to you with an important Eidl update that you don't want to miss. Either you have an Eidl loan or one of the millions of entrepreneurs that took on an Eidl loan who this video may impact, and the decisions by the SBA will have an impact on those loans. So I'm going to bring you up to speed on Eidl, what it is, what the SBA has been doing, the decision that they made to not pursue loans, COVID-19 idle disaster loans that are under $100,000. The reasoning behind it. I'm also going to talk about some of the criticisms that came out of the IG report that was issued late last month in September, and some of the recommendations that they are offering, and also criticisms that are coming from some of government officials who want to make sure that the outcomes of the program go along as planned, and that there's really nothing that impedes their ability to go after small businesses that have participated in fraudulent activities. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about that today. If you're one of the millions that have an Eidl loan, if you took out an Eidl loan at any point in time that the program was open, please let me know. And if you're in the comments, put a one in the comments. And if your loan is under $100,000, put a two in the comments. What I will ask you to do is show this video some love, give it a thumbs up, hit that love like button, share this video out, and tag someone you know that may have an Eidl loan, because they may not know about the latest updates regarding Eidl. I think the last update that I made regarding Eidl was back in 2022. So you know that this is major. I've had people asking me since it closed, is it coming back? Is it going to be forgiven? Is this a forgivable loan? So, I mean, just a few months ago, someone was asking me about it. And so I've been keeping you all up to date. We know that the Eidl loan was given out to millions of borrowers, and a lot of them are solopreneurs, right? Solopreneurs that aren't legally formed. Maybe you had a ride sharing business, a Mary Kay business. You did a 1099 work on the side or full time. So many of you are the ones that are included in the count that is considered under $100,000. And so they knew going into it that there were going to be some borrowers, right, that were going to default on their loans. But it is a lot of people that are defaulting on their loans. And so the SBA has to take a look at, okay, what does that mean for the SBA? What does that mean for these borrowers who are still trying to overcome the impacts of the pandemic? And then the pandemic is still having an impact on the economy. So what can we do? Okay, and so the SBA said, okay, there's a decision that we have to make, and they made it. So let's talk about it. Welcome to She Boss Talk. If you're new here, welcome. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and what your business is. I see you all out there. Hello, Miss Congeniality. Hi, is it Akiva? That's a pretty name, Sharon. I see you out here. Fahima. Okay, so we have a lot of people. I know we personally help thousands of people with Eidl grants and Eidl loans throughout the pandemic. So we're really familiar with the program. So I want to really start with just giving you some background information. So let's just go back and give you some later foundation for this program. So the Eidl loan program was meant to help businesses stay in business, because so many businesses were impacted through the pandemic. So you were able to get your loans, and you saw that the SBA continued to defer and defer and defer and defer until they stopped the deferment. And then they initiated what is a hardship program for those that were having a hard time paying back their student loan. So hopefully you know about the hardship program that is still in existence. And if you need to access it, that you take advantage of that program, because you don't want your loans to go into default. We know that there that has a detrimental effect on you and your business when you go into default. So the SBA wants to avoid that. They don't want you to be overburdened by this debt, knowing that you are trying to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. So let me talk about some of the factors behind their decision. Again, this is the SBA, the Small Business Administration, that supports and provides programs to the 43 plus million small businesses that are in the United States. These are some of the factors they looked at in deciding what they were going to do with these delinquent loans. One of the major factors is administrative efficiency. So looking at the return on investment, does it make sense for us to pursue this from a cost perspective, right? And so they said no. So based on their analysis that they did, they said, well, no, we don't think that this is administratively effective for us or efficient, and it's going to cost us more money to try to go after these smaller dollar funds that are delinquent. And there are a lot of loans that are delinquent, and we'll take a look at that in shortly. So pursuing smaller loans can administratively be burdensome also to the SBA. They are working on a limited budget with limited staff. And so you have to look at, okay, you're going to put all of your energy into this when you have other initiatives that can be more effective for the total population. What makes sense for actions for us to take? So by focusing on larger loans, the SBA can allocate its resources more effectively. And number two, they looked at support of small businesses. Okay, so recognizing that many small businesses face unprecedented challenges during the pandemic, and the SBA chose to alleviate the financial burden for these entities by forgiving or not pursuing under $100,000. Those loans under $100,000, and the SBA aimed to provide relief to these businesses in need that needed it most. Okay, enabling them to focus on recovery and growth rather than debt repayment. Okay, and number three, stimulating the economic recovery. So by not aggressively pursuing these small business loans, the SBA contributed to stimulating the economic recovery at the grassroots level. And small businesses are often the backbone of local economies. And by reducing the financial stress, they can reinvest in their operations, retain employees, and contribute to the community's prosperity. And four, they also are prioritizing larger loans. So focusing on the larger loans where the recovery potential is higher allows the SBA to maximize its impact on the overall economy. And by working with businesses that receive substantial funding, the SBA can ensure that more significant return on its investments in terms of the economic revitalization and job retention. So those are the things that they're focusing on, and those are the factors behind their decision, again, to stop pursuing these debts. So what I would like to ask from you all is, like, what are your thoughts about it? And then also, if you do currently hold an Eidl loan that you're paying for, what does this mean for you? And have you received any communications from the SBA regarding your Eidl loan and their decision to stop pursuing collections? So that's what I would like to know. So although I know they made the decision was made back in April, okay, of 2023. And so, but I don't know from you all individually where you stand, or where the communication is regarding notifying you all as the borrowers of their decision to not pursue. Okay. And so it does not mean all the loans. So let's talk about the criticisms and the report that came out from the OIG. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly. And again, I'm just pulling it up. You won't be able to read all of the context, and nor do I want you to. I will make sure that the link is in the description and in the comments after the show. So you will always find the resources in the description where the text is of this video, and then we always share it again in the comments. So this is the report that came out of the Office of the Attorney General. And they, on their memorandum and their cover page, it just highlights what their criticisms are regarding the SBA's decision. So I wanted to just talk about it with you all so you know, right? Because, you know, once the SBA makes a decision that kind of is not aligned with what maybe proper or regular protocol, there's going to be some eyes, right? Their eyes always watching what's going on, and they want to know what's happening. I know they just not too long ago met with the House committee to discuss their decision to stop pursuing these delinquent accounts. So the Office of Inspector General is what it is, bringing to their attention the concerns regarding the SBA's decision to end the collections, okay, for COVID-19 disaster recovery loans for outstanding balances of 100,000 or less. So this only pertains to those 100,000 or less. So first thing that they said is that the SBA's decision to cease collections is in violation of the Debt Collection Improvement Act of 1996, which prohibits the ending of collections on fraudulent, false, or misrepresented claims because the SBA, OIG, and other oversight agencies are continuing to work to identify Eidl fraud. Okay, if you haven't heard it, just look in the news. There is continuation of pursuit of fraud across all of these programs to recover the dollars and hold people accountable for receiving federal dollars that did not qualified for them or pursued them or received them or obtained them by fraudulent means. Okay. And it is unclear whether the SBA plans to end its active collections on loans for borrowers who receive multiple Eidl loans of $100,000 or less. Okay. When combined that exceed 100,000. They also said that the SBA, based on its decision to end active collections on the cost benefit analysis that they used was dissimilar to the loan program, and a private sector loan servicing model was used to estimate the proceeds from collections and collection costs. So the cost benefit analysis did not include a periodic comparison of the costs incurred and the amounts collected as federal regulations require. Okay. And then finally, it says that the SBA does not appear to have fully evaluated its consultants, okay, recommendation to sell portions or a portion of the COVID-19 Eidl portfolio to maximize the return to taxpayers. So we can see a big concern that's coming out of the Office of Inspector General is the issue with the pursuit of fraud. They don't want the SBA just to eliminate this debt, and then those that were fraudulent they're no longer able to pursue them. And but the SBA has indicated that their decision was never to halt or stop any collections on payments that were fraudulent. So they want people that were fraudulent to be held accountable for their frauds. But we have to look at those that were not, those that were not fraudulent. They obtained and were approved for and obtained loans above board. But they just simply have had a hard time paying them back and have not paid them back and are going into a delinquent status. And that is not helpful to the small business owner, to the SBA, and to the overall economy. So that's where the Attorney General is. And then again, what they're trying to do is find different things that they can do to maximize the return and return those taxpayer dollars. Okay. And so I'm going to scroll down here. So it's a lengthy report, but I did want to focus too on there's a figure here on, I think it's page 8, where it's talking about estimating the collections and the cost for potential recoveries. I can say back around the May time frame, there are about, let's say, 1.3 million idle loans that were past due in liquidation or charged off at the time, and that added up to more than $33 billion in outstanding debt. So that is a lot of money. So that's with some borrowers late as 120 days. So we have the idle chart here for $100,000 or less. And again, this data is as of May 9th of 2023, and it's showing you the delinquency. Is showing 0 to 28 days past due. Again, more than 235,000 loans, 30 to 59 days past due. You're looking at over 118,000 loans that are in that category. Those that are 60 to 89 days past due is 160, over 162,000. And over 90 to 119 days is 333,000 plus loans in delinquent status. Okay. You have 120 days, over 417,000 loans in status. So you see that there's a lot equaling up to billions of dollars that are delinquent or in liquidation. They have 6,400 in liquidation right now, and those that have been charged off are over 68,000 loans that have been charged off. So this is a lot of money. And again, this is what they looked at as far as the cost for potential recoveries. And so they calculate this and they think about, okay, what is it going to take us to collect or pursue these loans? And is it advantageous for us to do so? And they said no. Okay. So that is the SBA's decision. Now, let's take a look here. Let's scroll down a little bit here. So I won't go into that, but I do want to just discuss the recommendations. So we're going to scroll down. And let me make sure that I'm not missing this. And so as we scroll down to page 18, I think page 18 through 20, we're looking at some of the recommendations that were put forth by the OIG to the SBA to consider in its decision on pursuit of collections. Okay. And so number one, it says, to address concerns with the COVID Eidl program, we recommend that the administrator direct the associate administrator for Office of Capital Access to perform a comprehensive cost benefit analysis consistent with federal regulation to include periodic and comparison of costs incurred and the amount of collected on a portfolio of COVID-19 Eidls of $100,000 or less, to assess whether these collections cost or exceed the recovery amount. So again, they want them to work with the Office of Capital Access to review this analysis and do this cost benefit analysis for them. Okay. So the SBA's response to this is that they partially agree, and the SBA is currently evaluating the cost benefit analysis of collections on related but different PPP programs. And I'll talk about that later. The SBA will determine if a separate cost benefit analysis is necessary to make an informed decision to refer the COVID-19 Eidls of $100,000 or less to the Treasury. Okay. Recommendation number two is to address concerns in the COVID-19 Eidl program. They recommend that the administrator direct the associate administrator for the Office of Capital Access to reevaluate and amend as appropriate the April 27, 2022 decision to end active collections contingent on the outcome of the more comprehensive cost benefit analysis. So in response, the SBA agrees. Okay, the SBA will reevaluate and amend as appropriate the decision contingent on the outcome of the more comprehensive cost benefit analysis performed on PPP and or COVID Eidl as set forth in the response to recommendation number one. A recommendation number 3 issued in this report to address concerns that the Eidl program, we recommend that the administrator direct the associate administrator for the Office of Capital Access to ensure that the SBA does not end collective applications pursuant to the April 27th decision on COVID Eidl under 100,000 or less made to borrowers who received multiple COVID Eidl loans that, when combined, would exceed that $100,000 threshold. Okay, so this is for those borrowers who you have more than one Eidl loan, and because you have multiple Eidl loans, the totality of those equals to more than 100,000. They don't want them to discontinue pursuing those loans. So the SBA agrees, and to the extent that it is technologically feasible, the SBA is working to implement a system to flag the multiples. Okay, so these things are in progress. This report, again, was issued on September the 29th. Okay, so that was just a couple weeks ago that this came out, regarding the SBA's decision. And they are again reviewed and are evaluating the recommendations that have been set forth, and determining what their response is going to be. So that's what I'm reviewing for you now. So recommendation number 4, to address concerns with the COVID Eidl program, we recommend that the administrator direct the associate administrator of the Office of Capital Access to ensure that the SBA does not end active collections on any COVID-19 Eidl loan that appears to be fraudulent, false, or misrepresented, including loans identified such by the OIG or other federal oversight entities, without 1, reviewing the loan application for fraud, and 2, for attempting active collections at minimal, regardless of the outcome of the comprehensive cost benefit analysis. So here's the SBA's response. So they partially agree. And as this is already the process for suspected fraud. Okay, so they're already acknowledging they have a process in place for suspected fraud. The SBA cannot do this for confirmed identity theft because of the unknown identity of the fraudster, right? And the SBA cannot do this for potential fraudulent loans identified as such by the OIG or other federal oversight entities, because the OIG and other federal entities have denied the SBA's request to share data. Okay, and the SBA cannot take action on data other entities refuse to share. Okay, so this putting it back in their court to be able to share data that's necessary for them to put the proper protocols in place so that they do not stop pursuit of collections on those loans that appear to be fraudulent, false, misrepresented, or misrepresented loans. Okay. And then they also say that if the loan is flagged or suspected of fraud, the SBA does a review prior to the liquidation review to ensure that the hold is appropriate. And then they proceed with actions that can include charging off the loan. Okay. And the SBA does continue other actions against these charge-offs of the Eidl obligators, such as issuing a 1099-C to obligators and reporting the obligators to the necessary bureaus, credit bureaus, and CAVers, and the loan is then referred to the SBA OIG. So again, these are some of the recommendations that have been set forth. And the fifth and final recommendation, to maximize the return of taxpayers, we recommend that the administrator direct the administrator for the Office of Capital Access to evaluate the Eidl loan portfolio in collaboration with the Treasury to determine if selling the portfolio, including delinquent loans of 100,000 or less, is in the best interest of the government. So, in response, the SBA disagrees in this case. After receipt of the report from the contractor, the SBA performed additional internal group analysis and evaluated the possibility of selling the portfolio. This analysis was ongoing from December 2021 through February of 2022, and it included not only the contractor recommendations but also the OMB approved subsidy methodology and the GAO reports prior to the SBA asset sales. And the SBA concluded that it is not in the best interest of the government to proceed with the sale at this time. So they are not proceeding with the sale at this time. We don't know what's going to happen, in response to the SBA's response. But right now, they're not looking to sell off any of these assets because they've already evaluated that and don't think that it is in the best interest of them to do so. Okay, so with this said, so again, if you have an Eidl loan or you know someone who does, please make sure that they watch this video. We'll keep you abreast of all the things that are happening. Again, the report was just issued late last month, which was just a couple of weeks ago, but this really affects those of you that have an Eidl loan. And as we can see by looking at those numbers, there's again over $33 billion of outstanding debt that's delinquent, that where it clearly shows that the borrower has not or is incapable or is struggling to be able to pay it back. So this the non-pursuit would be a relief to the borrower, right, of the Eidl loans. Again, and have other positive impacts from them making the decision to not pursue these loans. What you want to be mindful of is how that impacts you and with their decision and where your loan actually is. So you want to be on top of it, because one of the things that you never want to do, period, is going to default on a loan. Definitely not a federal loan. Because if you don't understand, if you have never tried to pursue different opportunities with the federal government, like say for instance you're trying to pursue a federal grant, you won't be able to get it with a default loan. If you're as a business owner, there's an opportunity, a multi-million-dollar opportunity or six-figure opportunity for that matter comes up. It's a federal contract, you're well suited for it, but you owe a federal debt, you will not be able to pursue that contract. Okay, so if you're trying to buy a home, the probability that you will get approved is low. Okay, so anything that you want to do government wise is going to be a no. It's going to be a no. That's one of the first things that they ask about is, do you have any federal debts, and are you delinquent on any federal debts? It's like one of the worst statuses that you can be in to owe a federal debt. Okay, and then also if you are awarded anything like your tax refunds, right, those are offset. Any taxable tax refunds or credits or things like that, when they look and see that you have a federal debt that you owe, they're going to offset it. Mean what? They're going to take that money. So say it's $20,000 and you owe 30,000. They're going to take that 20,000, apply it to that $30,000 debt, and then what happens is now your debt is now reduced down to 10,000. That's what happens. So I know many of you all know that because if you filed your taxes before, if you've ever owned old debt, you know that's what happens. So it happens whether you're in business or not. And so we don't want to have those impacts. So we don't want to go into default, and we don't want it to have any our debts to have any negative ratings, like be put on, whether you're so personal on your business credit. If you think it's bad on your personal credit, it's definitely going to be bad for your business, because as a person that have overcome personal credit challenges, I was able, even with some negative personal credit, I was able to secure or leverage, loans and lines of credit and get grants, all because of my business. So you just want to be mindful of this, and you want to make sure that you are taking initiative on your own behalf, not waiting for stories like this to come out to find out, okay, what's going on. Because people's, I think, natural thought is that I'm just going to ignore the problem. I'm just going to pretend that it doesn't exist. That is in your that is not in your best interest to do that. Just ignore and pretend you don't have a debt and you're just going to ignore it. They're not ignoring it. So while you're ignoring it, then some opportunity comes up that you're excited about, that you want. Now you're devastated because that loan that you defaulted on and you decided to ignore, that you could have handled, now it's causing you to be in worse shape, because now you can't pursue those opportunities that are now on the table. And so again, I've seen it so many times. You don't want to be in that situation. So I would say, follow up if you have an Eidl loan, where your Eidl loan is at, even if you haven't been paying on it. Again, yours is maybe one that they're pursuing, but again, you don't want to they not pursue it, but there's still a negative mark on you or your business. And most of these loans of 100,000 are from those, I would say, are sole proprietors, not just solopreneurs, but those that have not set up a legal business entity. That means, again, I've always said that it's the easiest setup for a formation for a business, but it's the most risky, because there's no differentiation, separation between you personally, your personal assets, and your business, right? You want to separate those, right? So most of the loans in this category are from those that have sole proprietorships, right? Regular people just like operating like a side hustle or a business, and you have not legally formed, you're not registered with your state, you don't have an EIN, you don't have a business name tied to that EIN or that registration, you don't have a you don't have a business bank account, because you can't do any of that if you don't have a business bank account, right? So there are steps that you can take. Again, there's a hardship program. So if you're over that $100,000 threshold, you want to make sure you're taking advantage of this, because one thing I know is that the SBA has been vigilant about helping the small business owners and the administration, right? They kept deferring and deferring and deferring. And I was like, okay, I think they're deferring because they're trying to decide or see if there's a way that they can forgive the debt, right? And they never came out and said, okay, we're just outright forgiving all of the debt. But we could see this 33 billion or so that they're going away, with the exception of those that are in fraud, or if you have multiple loans that equate to over 100,000. So that's the latest news. And if you heard me as I was talking in reference to PPP, they actually made the same decision with PPP. So if you got a PPP loan, let me know in the comments. Put a 3 in the comments if you received a PPP loan. So they made that decision back in 2020. So around April 2022, not 2020, April 2022, they made the decision not to pursue those delinquent PPP loans that were under $100,000 or less. But my question is, why were there even any that were delinquent when the PPP is a forgivable loan? But here's the thing, which people didn't catch on, especially if they weren't following me. There were actions you needed to take to get it forgiven. And unfortunately, there was people misinformed. People telling you, "Oh, you could get this PPP loan, and it's automatically forgiven." What they said was automatically. No, it was not. You had to take action. You had to apply for forgiveness. Okay, and so myself and thousands of others applied for forgiveness, and it was a simple process. Basically, took 5 minutes to do so. But there were people that didn't do that, or for some reason they didn't qualify for full forgiveness. So, or they only got partial forgiveness of their loan. And so maybe that's a reason why they defaulted on their PPP loans. But again, that's not a reason to default on your PPP loans just because, you're not going to take action, or you're ignoring the fact that you have debt. Okay. So take initiative with whatever debts that you have, anything that you owe. These are very important. It's really telling about you as a business owner. We know everybody has been struggling, but you have to take initiative. That is going to, in any situation, be more helpful to you, instead of ducking and dodging. Even when you look at non-federal business financing, and you don't even know that financiers will work with you, but you've ignored them to the point where you just blackballed yourself from ever getting financing again. These are the repercussions. So we want to help you avoid that. So again, if you need a hardship, apply for the hardship. They have that program available, and now the SBA is really working on addressing some of their other programs and making sure that they're more accessible to more business owners, especially those that are disadvantaged, that are often, again, unable to pursue or don't qualify for some of the other like SBA loans, like the 7A loan, 7A Express loan, or micro loans. They are working to make it more accessible for all small businesses because they understand that capital infusion is so necessary for businesses to grow, that you at some point in your business is going to need working capital to grow your business. So those are things that they are working on. And so I'll make sure that I will do upcoming videos to share with you what they're working on. So if you've ever thought about pursuing SBA loans, we have tons of videos on SBA loans that explain the different programs. But with the changes that are being made, we want to make sure that you're up to date, so you know how it impacts you, and then you can then take that financing and go, you know, expand your business and grow your business. Go get a new venue, expand a venue, hire some more, team members, or get you some partners and pursue, larger opportunities. So those are things that are coming along. So I see you all out there. Shout out to all of you that are out there. So what someone is asking about, how do you apply for hardship? So what I would do is link that information in the comments for you, so you can apply. And what I want to say also is, what happens is when people go delinquent, they go off a radar. So they don't keep their information updated with the people that they owe. So you want to make sure that your information is updated with the SBA so that you get the emails. So even if they sent you out some notification that they're not collecting, you wouldn't know about it because you have not kept your contact information up to date. But I'll make sure that I put the link and the information, the summary of how to apply for the hardship in the comments. Just check for the comments sometime after the live. Okay, so we have another person that says they owe $5,000. Last month, she set up an auto pay, and I received a voicemail stating that I need to contact them regarding delinquent payment. Yeah, so definitely contact them, and I would ask them about the SBA's decision not to collect on the debt and what that means for you. Okay, so you always want to make sure it's a positive outcome. So if they say, okay, we're just not going to collect on the debt, and it's still going to reflect in a negative credit rating for you, and you can manage the payment, I would just do the payment and get on the hardship program. So we have someone else saying that they have not heard from the SBA. So maybe I think if someone had heard about it, they would have probably notified me. But that doesn't mean that they reached out and said, "Oh, we're gonna just stop collecting on the debt." They just could stop collecting, right? Even with our personal creditors, that often happen. I don't know when they say, "Oh, we're just gonna stop collecting on your debt." They'll tell you when they send it over to collections, they'll send you a notification. Someone is from Oakland, California. I'm trying to get an Eidl loan now for the Cali severe storms. So those of you all these Eidl loans are different. So what we've been talking about are the COVID Eidl and where that stands. But the SBA has other Eidl loans. These are disaster loans. So anytime there is a national disaster, or your state, there's a national disaster declared in your state, that is an opportunity for small businesses to take advantage of their Eidl disaster loan. So that is what she is referring to. You can learn more about that by going, or any of their other SBA's other programs at sba.gov. .gov. Okay. But you must first make sure that the state that you live in or the area has been declared. It has to be officially declared a disaster zone. And you can keep track of that on the SBA's website as well. And those are pursuing those funds can be very helpful for a business. And so, again, if you don't know about it, you don't even know that you have access to these funds that will help you rebuild your business when there a disaster hit, whether it's a tornado, a flood, a hurricane, a major storm, or whatever that affected your business. There are Eidl loans that can help you recover. Okay. So those of you that are on here that want to talk, feel free to send us a message on our Facebook or send us an email to hello@shebosstalk.com and let us know what you need and how we may be able to assist you. Someone else is asking, is your help with loans or grants or only for women? No. So we help with all types of funding, grants, loans, lines of credit, you name it. We help you with it. We mostly help educate you on what you need to do to be best prepared and well positioned to go be able to get some of this money. What do we call it? Is using other people's money. That's what the wealthy people do. They use other people's money, and it's not just women that qualify for these programs or that we've helped. We've helped several men. We have several men in our community. We have several men that have been clients. We funded several men and their businesses across multiple industries. Okay, real big in the logistics and trucking industry. That's really huge. So we help whoever needs our help. So I hope that's clarifies. Shout out to Chicago. Awesome. So someone else is saying that their husband received an Eidl loan for his electrical business. Will they forgive the loan and will they impact his credit? Right. So I think I just answered that question. So I don't know if I would use the word forgive, although that's really what they're not going to pursue the debt. But again, that's all I know. I don't know where your loan is, or the amount. So you want to look at your loan, where it is, how much it is, if it falls under the 100,000, and where are you? Are you paying? Are you delinquent? Will it impact your credit if you become delinquent? Yeah, it depends on who they're reporting to. When they decide to report and who they're reporting to. So if they report to personal credit bureaus, it will impact your credit. If they don't, it won't. I was unaware that my loan was past due. Okay, so I don't know why you were not aware. Like, were you not getting the emails? Were you not checking in? We just got to make sure. So when you're paying back your keep getting mixed up with student loans because I'm helping with student loans too. But if you're, they have a portal for you to pay, for you to see all your account information and for you to pay on your account. So all the information is there. You can just log in whenever you want to. And so you can know if you're delinquent or not. It's just like every day, I'm checking on my business bank accounts to see what my status is. Every day I look at it. Or every other day. I don't need them to send me an email to say check on if what my status is. I am being proactive and logging into my account. And if there's something that I'm concerned with or not clear on, I will pick up that phone and call them. Or if I need to email them, I will email them. But typically, the best thing I try to do is get on the phone and talk to a human to get my questions answered and get the clarifications that I need. So again, it goes back to us as business owners having to be proactive and not waiting for us, because they may have probably sent you something, went to your spam, and you never checked your spam and you would never know. Right. So I just check my accounts all the time. It's just like I said the other day about I put out a question. And I'm shocked I didn't get more. Everybody on Facebook didn't answer the question. Like, when was the last time you checked your credit report? And the majority of people, it had been a long time, right? When you get a free all from all three bureaus, you can check your credit report. Pull it once per year from all the credit bureaus for free. There's no cost. But you don't understand that you may be getting denied for something. Your credit score is low, and for something that is there's errors on your account, and because you don't ever check it, you wouldn't know. And then then you don't dispute it. So knowing that there's an error on your account and you can dispute it, that will then change your circumstances or make it a positive outcome. To me, it would be worth checking your credit report. But I don't know, maybe because people, they have a lower credit score, they're just afraid to look at it. I don't know. But face the fear, go look at it, because that's what I found out, that there were records, my credit report records were not updated correctly. And it was a major thing on there that was hindering me from getting pre-approval on my multifamily home that I'm pursuing. So I had to, I didn't have to do it, but I did it because I want this multifamily property. And what I did was I disputed it with every bureau, because their records were incorrect. Okay. And so I had to correct it before I could move forward with the process. So was I going to let the errors hold me back from moving forward with the process? No. I wasn't waiting for the credit bureaus to contact me, because they're not going to contact me. I know they had an error, so I got on the phone and contacted them and initiated the process to have them corrected. And it was corrected relatively quickly, but I had to verify amongst all three bureaus. Okay. So again, that's the importance of being proactive and making sure that you're aware of these programs and the updates too, because it's been a while since you heard about Eidl, been a while since you even heard about PPP. They've been closed, but there are millions that have loans, right? PPP loans, millions that have Eidl loans. So what do you do if you have these loans? The grants you didn't have to pay back, right? They're free and clear. The loans you have to pay back, the terms in which you have to pay them back. But this is good news for borrowers. And again, as we learn more, we'll share more with you. And as you learn more, please share it with me or us at She Boss Talk. Feel free to send me an email, especially if you get a correspondence with the SBA. So then I can come back and share and say, hey, like this is what correspondence is being sent out to borrowers, to let them know that they're no longer going to be pursuing. Right. But you definitely want to know what that means for you, and contacting the SBA is the best way to be able to do that. Okay. So I think I've answered all the questions. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, what would be helpful for us and making an impact on your peers? There's millions of them, and I know millions won't be able to see this video. So please share out this video, tag someone you know that can find this helpful, that has an Eidl loan, that needs this information. And again, we will continue to share updates as we get them, new information that's coming out of the SBA and other programs that we think that are going to be beneficial to your business and your business success. As always, continue to be the boss with Amplify Impact. Until next time, have a great day.